Hey, 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 hey. How y'all feeling? It's Wednesday. You made it to the hump day. You remember that commercial hump day? Well, you made it. But right now, you are at that pivotal time in the day. It is lunchtime, noontime for a lot of you guys. So you're getting a little break. And you know what we do here? This is Noontime My Time. We have decided to reclaim our time. So that's why we're calling it Noontime My Time. And what do? We get in here. We want to kind of recenter ourselves. We want to recalibrate. Get back to that place of a little relaxation, so that we can make it through the rest of the day. So we do a little breath work. We have a little chat. Sometimes we have special guests, and I got a special guest for you here today. Yes, I do. It's Wellness Wednesday. You know what I want to talk about? I want to know, and maybe you guys want to know, or maybe you know, do black girls really do yoga? Hmm. Well, we're going to find out. I got a very special guest today. Yes, I do. Jarrel Yvonne. She'll be here. She's a yoga instructor. So I'm going to let her get into it and talk to you guys a little bit about how she got into it. Because in recent years, we all know that it's become popular. But let's find out. Are people like us doing yoga? Yeah, we're going to get into it. But I tell you what, this is something that we do every time. Before we get into it, before we get into the conversation, let's go ahead and regroup. Let's go ahead and do a little breath work. Y'all ready? What I want you to do is inhale to the count of 4. And we're going to hold it for a few seconds. And then we're going to exhale. And we'll hold that for a few seconds. And we'll repeat that a few times. Now, you can close your eyes if you're in a place that you can do that. I don't want you to do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're actually sitting at the desk. If you got your head pods on and you're taking a listen, we'll vibrate with us and listen. But if you can close your eyes, close your eyes. You want to take it a step further, put your hands over your heart and feel that you are alive. That's you. Let's get into it. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. One more time. Let's inhale. Hold it a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. Doesn't that feel great? I know you feel good, or at least you should feel good. So just go ahead, relax your shoulders, and do what you need to do to feel your zen. All right? Let's get into this conversation here. I have Jarrel Yvonne here in the space right here. She is a yoga teacher, an entrepreneur. She's very much involved in the community. Jarrel offers a wealth of knowledge and insight on yoga, with the whole space garden. And so I thought it would be important for us to find out from someone who is not just taking a yoga class, but someone who actually teaches a yoga class. All right, how you doing, Jarrel?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am doing very well.
Good. I really
Yes, yes.
enjoyed the breath work.
Well, thank you very much. We gotta, we start our day out and people are busy throughout that day, especially that first part of the day, meetings, whatever it is. Somebody probably got on got on your nerves already. I say
Right,
let's shake it off.
right.
For real. Okay, let me ask you a question here. And I guess, one of the very obvious and first questions. Black girls in yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a little bit of history with you and how you got into it. What made you first of all become interested and then take us right into you becoming an instructor?
Okay, so this is one of my favorite stories to tell. I I first started doing yoga whenever I was senior year of high school, going into college. I was going into college. So it was like first year of college, and um had like a bad breakup, like high school sweetheart breakup into college kind of deal. So that whole fiasco was going on. So I was in a really bad like space. Um and I'm one to like try different things. So if I see that this is like, oh, this seems like this might work, like I'll tap into it and see if it'll work, and I'll give it a shot. So I would see how people would do yoga like on like TV and movies and stuff, and like they would come bouncing out of class and be like so happy and like with all these smiles and stuff. So I literally was like, well, I'm gonna go to yoga, like, and I'm telling you, my life was like in shambles in my young age, like, so I was like, I'm going to yoga class. I worked at a gym, so I could take classes for free. So I went to a yoga class, and my first yoga class, I was like, this is not it. Like, this is not, this is, I'm hot. Like, and it wasn't a hot yoga class, but I was sweating. Like, I was like, this is not, this is, I mean, this is a workout. Like, I feel like I just did cardio. Like, this is not it. So I said that, and then I left, and then I came back to another class. And it was the same thing. I mean, I still worked out during it, and I still sweat during the class. So it wasn't the idea that I had were like, oh, these people must be going in this room and they must be like just hanging out and like just chilling, and then they come back out all bubbly, blah 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 blah. That wasn't it, but it still gave me like this feeling. So after a few classes, I was like, oh, I'm really interested in this. Like, I like this. Like, it's so calming.
Mhm.
This was maybe like 2011,
Oh, wow.
2012, like, yeah, because I graduated in 2010. So it had to be like 2011, 2012. So I was like, oh, I want to become a yoga teacher. And I mean, it worked because I worked at a gym. So I could teach at the gym if I wanted to. So at the time, the closest training was in Charleston. And the training it requires a lot of hours. So it would have required for me to be there so like enough times that I would have needed like a almost semi-permanent place to stay. So I was like, okay, this is not gonna work. Like, I might have like been able to find the funds for it, but I'm definitely not gonna be able to travel that much. So
Mhm.
that time went on, and I just kind of like I didn't think any more about it. Well, in maybe like 2015, 16, something like that. um I had I was working as a full-time, I love telling this story. I was a full-time entrepreneur. um I had just came off of working 7 days a week. Like, I spent 2 years working 7 days a week. So I had just kind of like knocked that back to where I wasn't working 7 days. Working I was working more like 4 days out of the week. But I had also added on a staff. I got moved into a larger building. I had some really big family health things going on, that really drained. Like, it took a lot from me,
Mhm.
and then and I had that coming from like two different perspectives. So I have two really big, extreme family emergencies that just like popped up out of the blue. Um,
Mhm.
and so I had all of these things going on, and I was very committed to like working out routinely. But one of those two family emergencies required me to like, I couldn't work out. I spent half of my day at work and then half of my day traveling, 45 minutes to an hour to go visit family at a hospital and then come back. So that was my routine. Like, my new routine became like, okay, I'm eating fast food. I am on the road all the time. I'm at work, and that was it. It was like that every day for weeks.
Right.
So one day I went to go and do an engagement um, away from the studio, and all of it, like when I arrived at the place where I was supposed to be doing, it was a community event doing little girls' nails for the summer. So I arrived there, and like all of a sudden, like I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like I felt like really
Wow.
light, of like my breath was very light. So it was like really heavy breathing. Like I could it I was not getting enough air.
So
So
almost like you were having some type of anxiety or some type of panic attack
uh-huh.
or something like that?
Absolutely. And that was the start of it. And for me, I felt that, but then I also felt like, you know how you drink like two shots or a shot or two of espresso?
Mhm.
And that jittery, like I can't sit down,
Right.
bouncing off the wall kind of feeling. So I felt both of those things. So I'm feeling like extremely active, like I need to go, go, go. I need to do things. But then I'm also feeling like I can't breathe. So this goes on for some time, and I actually, before I went to the event, because I had so much going on, I was getting very little sleep. I had gone and gotten like a double espresso, and that was it that morning. And so I was like, okay, it must be the caffeine, but I don't know where this shortness of breath is coming from. So I returned back to work, and at this point, like it is, I remember driving back because everyone that worked at the studio at the time rode with me. So the staff, everybody was in the car. And I remember driving back and feeling like I was not driving,
Hmm.
like a outer body experience. Like I'm here, but like literally I am not here. And that is so hard to explain.
Right.
Um, but it was an outer body experience. So I come back and I say, I'm just gonna lay across the sofa for a second and just try to get myself together. Well, that did not work. And long story short, it went from that to that day started maybe like a strong 4 to 5 month period of severe paralyzing just like very controlling anxiety. And this is happening with meds, because that day turned from that moment, like it spiraled like downward very very quickly. Like I ended up in the emergency room that evening, and they did not pinpoint it. They pinpointed it as dehydration, which in all reality, when I went to my family doctor the next day, I was definitely like having severe anxiety attacks and panic attacks, either or both at the same time, like collectively. So
Wow.
I was given medication, but but the thing, I try to be, I've always been like a very mindful person. Like I learn a lot, like I can learn from your experience. I don't need to experience it myself. If you say that something isn't good for me, then
Mhm.
okay. So
Wow.
when I was given
Listen,
the person, yes.
I I cannot believe so much happened, and like it sounds like before this particular experience, like you didn't have anything like this going on, like, there were no little small clues or anything happening, like, every now and then that you probably
Mhm.
miss. It's just, like, all of a sudden on you?
Yeah, so that was how it seemed. However, I what I realized, like my very second therapy session, what I realized was that, and I've known this about myself, like I'm super high functioning, like when it comes to like stress. Like I am the fish that you can throw into water, and it doesn't matter what ocean it is, I'm gonna swim in it. Um so I know that about myself, but the disconnect that I had, that had to be brought to my awareness, was the me functioning, like having this high functioning like attitude, like in stressful situations, like
Mhm.
it wasn't healthy. Like at that point, I knew nothing about. I mean, and I did know, but I didn't actively know how to decompress. Like I did not know
Right.
that okay, something big is happening. Like while all these big family things are going on, like I'm praying,
Right.
but I'm not taking time to like journal. I
And I
haven't
tell you
like.
something. We like I'm listening to you and I'm listening how you're navigating this as a young black woman. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, like a lot of what you were doing is really what is often expected of us. We're
Absolutely,
expected
absolutely.
to, yeah, we're expected to be high functioning, anything that is going on, like we're able to handle it. So people are seeing us in our go, go, go.
Mhm.
And, we're running around and we're doing these things and no one knows like what's going on with us, not even ourselves,
Not
you
even
know?
ourselves. Not even ourselves.
Continue.
Um. So, where was I? Oh, help me. Where was I?
Well, you were talking about how, all of the things that were going on in your family and you didn't realize that you needed to kind of take time to compress.
Yes. So that was the thing. So I ended up getting the prescription, which I actually my doctor wrote me a prescription because the anxiety was so severe that something had to. I was not in a place where I could do breath work. Was not going to help me that day. Like it was not
Mm,
going to, like, I because I was so what was happening was so foreign to me. Like I would not have been able to, okay, boom, that's it. Like I needed an immediate like release so that I could
right.
reel it back in. So I got the prescription, but the that made me nervous. Having that like made me nervous because I was like, I don't want to be dependent on this. Like I do feel like I am strong enough to do this on my own. Like, so let me see what I need to do for help. So I did several
Right.
things to help myself from that point. Like after about a week of me coming out of like complete zombie mode,
Hmm.
um I I went into the I literally the very next week, I'll never forget, my husband took me to I started doing breath work with my mom, number one. And then I started exercising with her. And then my husband took me to Bath and Body Works, and I got and I got a bunch of aromatherapy things, like things like
Okay.
essential things with essential oils that would help combat and de-stress and all of those things. So I did that, and then I went from doing like meditation and breath work
So,
to
okay. Well, let me ask you this.
okay.
How were you How did you get introduced? I hear everything that you went from, which is just outrageous because I see you and you
Mhm.
bring people to a calm. So to think that that was happening to you is one thing.
Mhm.
But how did you transition from all of that that was happening to you into breath work and meditation? Why did you seek that, or who introduced that to you? Because like I was saying, and really the whole reason for this conversation, like the wellness industry is really soaring. It's like a popular thing for people to be into yoga and self-empowerment, but there's not a whole lot of mainstream conversation about wellness for us as black women. So
Mhm.
how did you get there and who introduced that to you?
So I want to say that maybe in trying to pinpoint the meditation part, um that may have been my mom who sent me the Calm app, somewhere between me and her, like
Great.
because we were in a space of like trying to figure out, like, she knew that I didn't want to be dependent on the medications, like, so we were in
Right.
a place of trying to figure out how to do without that. So between her and I, like, one of us with her at sea, but between one of us, like, that's how that came about. Um and then from there I just kind of like fell back into the yoga thing, and that was really just to, in becoming a yoga instructor, it was it was it was a completely self like self-driven like move. Like the only reason why I did it initially was so that I could save myself. That was the only reason. Like, and that was, I felt like with taking the class, I would be able to it would give me more insight on how I could better help myself grow to um how I could better help myself grow to like be calm
Right.
and all of these things, and like help me to navigate through what I was going through. So
Okay.
So that's what happened with that. But then at the end of my yoga teacher training, we all sat in this circle and everyone said like, what do they want to do with their training? Well, how do they want to share that if they wanted to share it with like communities and whatnot? And everyone said like why they wanted to share it. And when it finally came around to me, after listening to everyone else, because I was in a space that was predominantly white. Um,
Mhm.
uh, when by the time I listened, and I thought to myself, like, well, if you take it to, what would be your if you go and you post on Facebook, if they were to go and post on Facebook and say they were offering yoga classes, they were going to do kids yoga. Well, the only kids that would probably be there would probably be predominantly white people, white children. Like,
Mhm.
so, and then the same thing as far as their adult classes. So it was like something just kind of shifted by the time it came to me. And I was like, I know why I came here. Like, I came here because I needed to, like, I had to save myself. Like, I did not have a choice,
Right.
because I was spiraling. And just like you said before, this, like, what I was experiencing is something that literally so many of us experience, and we think that it's just a way of life. Like, we just have to, like,
Right.
keep going, keep going, keep swimming,
Keep
like
going.
you'll be fine. So by
Yeah.
the time it came to me, I was like, I'm gonna share this with my community. And I didn't have a plan in that given moment because it had just happened. Like, it was a brand new idea. It just happened while I was in the circle listening to these people and thinking, like, literally my exact thought was, my people need this. Like, they need
Right.
this. Like, there's so many resources that we sometimes lack, but this isn't one that we have to lack. Like, we can have this resource, like, because here I am in this class, like, I can share this. Like, my community
Right.
needs this because these are all things that we need to decompress. We need to
It,
relax. Like, we need to
you're
be calm.
right.
Like, like, have a
We're
moment to
always expect.
center.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was it. We just need a moment to center and ground for ourselves, like, and just not have the world just constantly spinning around us without a break.
Exactly. I've said this many times, like, that strong black woman title that
Mm-hmm.
happens to be forced upon us is like really, really heavy on our shoulders. And it's not necessary because we do what we have to do a lot of the times because we have to. But
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of younger people and in these younger generations are realizing like, hey, yeah, I can do these things, but I've got to prioritize myself a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I kind of feel like you as when I looked out into the world of yoga and it had an attraction for me, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
see anyone that looked like me.
Yes.
And I'll tell you this short little story. I even went as far as paying for yoga classes. Like I
Mm-hmm.
signed, I signed up for a membership and I still never went to one of the classes.
Mm-hmm.
It was only when I saw online, and I want to share something here. Let me pull this up. This is a recent photo of you. I see you're one of those poses there. But what I want to say is when I saw someone who looked like me, that
Mm-hmm.
gave me more confidence to say, yeah, you know what? Let me go try this thing for real because it has interest me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized that you were offering the classes, the whole space and garden, which I'll give you a chance to talk a bit about. I walked in, it was just I realized it was where I needed to be, but I didn't think still that I would be able to have my body do some of those things. So I was like, "What is gonna happen?" But,
Mm-hmm.
the space and the place that you provided for us, the energy that was there, uh, I loved it, as you know, and I came again. But what I didn't know, and you'll have to tell people about this because it is a powerful tool And you gave your own story. You went into this for your own self healing and discovery. So it's a powerful tool for healing, but do not sleep on the yoga because the next day my body was aching. I had no
Oh,
idea. I mean, you were doing everything so cool, had us moving into the movements. I'm doing my thing. I had no idea how much work I was really doing until the next
uh-huh.
day. Let people know a little bit about, you know, yeah, there is a mindfulness in the yoga practice.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of spirituality, excuse me, that people could relate to it. But talk about the physicality of it because I don't think people realize that it is really a workout.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think about I recently had someone say, "Well, what is yoga?" And my initial response was, "It's exercise. It's exercise. It's exercise. That's literally what it is." But it is. I mean, it is. It doesn't feel physical. I mean, it can feel physically demanding depending on the level of the class and the type of class that you're taking.
Hmm.
Um, but um, some, I mean, it can be physically demanding. Your body will thank you tomorrow when your muscles are sore and you realize that you were engaging your quads when you were doing like some which seemingly simple pose, or that like your arms feel, like a little bit like sore because when you went into that warrior too, like they were like you really had to engage them to keep them up. So that is definitely a thing, and I feel like sometimes people can be intimidated like by the idea of that, but
Yeah,
honestly it's just it is the benefit like the benefit of it is so much, it's so much greater. And I feel
yeah,
like so often so many of the things that we do, like they don't come easily, like so you just add it to the bucket, add
yeah.
it to the bucket of things that don't come easily, but this actually does have benefits attached to it.
Yeah, I see we got keeping up with C in the building. How you doing, CC? Um, she has a comment here. She says, "My first time ever doing yoga was with Jarrel. I never thought I could do it, but she makes the space feel so safe, comfortable, and inclusive." I very much agree with that. I have to. We also have a comment from K Rose, who is in the. How you doing, K Rose? She said, "Nobody's been able to get my mom to do yoga." Go, Jarrell. Okay. Well, she's right. Nobody was able to do that. No
Mm,
one. She
thank
also says that the whole space and garden yoga classes are my fave. You
you.
know, I hear lots of people saying that, and it is very much true. You really provide a great space and a great energy. So it made me feel comfortable. So I have to do it. Piece of cake is here. Piece of cake conversation, and she sends some hearts out. Much love to you,
Mhm.
lady. I know we were talking about, the heaviness of things. I see a comment also here from K Rose, and she says that the strong black woman title puts so much pressure on us to always be strong. But I'm learning that a part of being strong is taking care of yourself and knowing when it's okay to get help. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
couldn't agree more. And that's why I love what you do. Now, in respect to the yoga classes that you offer,
Mhm.
do you want to talk a little bit about some of the spaces that you do it in, as well as some of the sound bath? Or do you want to talk a little bit about the sound bath?
Oh, we definitely can do that. Also
Okay.
with the yoga spaces during the winter months, I do it indoors, so it's a really like intimate setting. It only allows for like maybe 7 or 8 people. Um,
Hmm.
During the warmer months when the pollen clears up, we're outdoors, and just like open free space on a tennis court. And It's right here in Quimby, and I've been posting monthly flyers for when the classes are. I can say I used to say that the outdoors was my absolute favorite, and that's because I just simply love being outdoors, and it
Hmm.
just feels so good to be out there and to rise with the sun and to sweat a little bit. It feels good whenever we
Wait a
do
minute.
outdoor. Yes.
You in the Carolinas, and you said outdoor yoga on the tennis court.
Well,
So
see,
that sounds like hot yoga to me.
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then I added the sunrise into. Okay, maybe it is like hot yoga. Okay. Maybe you got me. Maybe you got me. But we do try to do it early. We are out there at 7.
You know, I have gone to your yoga classes. Clearly, I've been to the indoor ones. I'm gonna have to see what this outdoor situation is gonna be like for a sister.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get your review on it. I
Wow.
honestly think that you are going to enjoy it though, but I am so open to your honest review.
I love it. Now, you do the yoga
Hmm.
and you got into that. You said, I've got to save myself. That's your story. I've got to save myself. I'm because I watched you. I very much admire you as a young woman, as an entrepreneur, and very successful business. I mean, you got your game on. So we see you around and you're doing your thing. So all of that stuff, all of that spiraling down that you went through, I'm happy to hear that you're in a great space now. I'm
Hmm.
happy
Thank.
to hear, yeah, that you were able to realize that I don't have to do this quite like this. Let
Hmm.
me start taking care of myself in a different way because we don't notice it. And particularly when we're really young, it's just like go, 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 run, run, run. And you go, you have your fun, you're out. So it's a lot. And then to top that off with family dynamics and family issues because life is
Hmm.
out here lifing.
Yes, it
So
is. Mhm.
things are going to be happening. So I really like that you were able to find that. And what I also like hearing in your story uh, is that your mom was a very key component in helping you discover and find out ways of helping you figure out how can I center, how can I, you know, get my mind in a better space
Mhm.
because I don't want to be, on particular medications or for whatever reasons that you have. But
Mhm.
that is key because we got to have people in our corner. And
Absolutely.
that is important. And we have a sisterhood, and our sisterhood, whether a lot of people know it or not, it includes our mothers and our aunts. They're right there in there. If you're blessed enough to have those relationships, so kudos
Mhm.
to mom,
Yeah. Yes.
definitely.
For finding the resources that I needed.
Yes, yes, yes. I see. Keeping up with C here. She says, "Wind down R&B flow with Jarrel is tonight at 6." Hmm. Let me find out. I think I
Yeah.
just found out.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is what's up. But I think that's really great. And so, I was very much I can't say that what you went through, let me see how I can word this because it sounded a little crazy in my mind as I formulated.
I'll
I'm
I'll
trying to
take.
say, I'm trying to say, I'm not happy that you went through what you went through.
Mhm.
But, I think that there is a blessing in there, not only
Absolutely.
for you, but for people like me because you took it further than yourself. You weren't selfish with it, you know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
you went into it, you not only did you, say, "Hey, this is working for me. Let me teach this."
Yeah.
You know? And you brought it back to your community and you brought it back to people like me who were fearful, to be honest,
Mhm.
fearful and not comfortable, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, however that sounds good, that's what I mean.
Yes. 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 And I honestly, I will. I don't mind saying it for you. Like I mean, it is literally. I mean, aside from losing someone that you love, like it is the scariest. Like it was the scariest thing like I'd ever been through. I mean, even scary now to think about it. But I still, just for all that it is done, like for all that it is done, like I'm so thankful. I don't think I still
Yeah.
would not. I made it through it, so I mean, I definitely wouldn't. I would not change it. I'm very thankful that it allowed me to arrive at a space where I grew to want to share it, like with my people, with the people that I
Yeah.
feel like needed the most. So
Thank you for that, and you're getting some love in here. You know, Teresa Gibbs, she says, "I love Jarrell." Whole lot of explanation points. It's like I can almost hear her, like she's screaming it from a mountaintop.
and I love her too.
Yeah, you get a whole lot of love, a whole lot of respect. Um, so you've done the yoga,
Hmm.
right? You got into candles and different things of that nature, sound baths. I know a lot of people, there's probably a few people who have no idea what a sound bath is. And I don't know how we can explain that in a way, but I'll let you take a shot at it there.
Um, so I try to, I really try to make it very simple and say, um, for one, a sound baths are, they are instruments. They are, it is you relaxing, literally laying down and allowing the vibrations of different instruments to just travel through and around you. It's the equivalent to, for people who are really into music, it's the equivalent of going to a jam session. When you leave a jam session, you feel different. When you leave a concert, you feel different. And that's the
Mhm.
perfect example. It's actually, it's you leave a concert and you are like high. You and your daughter were just like still high the next day after going to see Jill
Mhm.
Scott. So it's it's that it is that is the magic, like
Right.
the power of sound. You feel
Right.
that way because of the sound. Like you feel that way because of the where the it's her vocal vibrations, or it's her, or if it's the instruments, her band that was playing. It's the sound that makes you, that takes you to an elevated experience. Like they gives you that good, that feel good feeling inside. And that's really kind of, that's what it is. You're bathed in sound. The same,
Right.
those same concert sounds travel through you while you are in a sound bath. So you lay there and you do a little breath work. A lot of times people go to sleep,
Mhm.
but just completely relax. And the thing that I love the most about sound baths is that, and just sound baths and instruments in general, it's just how they have the power to transform things like in our bodies. Like, so with the sound bath specifically, different instruments are tuned to different chakras in your body. So places where you may have blockages, or where your chakras just like are a little misaligned, it
Right.
gives them the opportunity to just kind of like, okay, I need to get back to where I'm supposed to be. I'm not spinning properly. I'm not in my right place. Like, and
Right.
it's, that takes a little bit more time to explain,
Mhm.
but I'm always open to chat about it.
I got you. But I tell you what though, is it's just important for people to pay attention to their bodies.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Listen to your body. And we can run, 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 and we can go, 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 and we can give up that subscription for that. We can give that card back. We don't have to be the strong black woman. We are who we are, and our strength is what it is, but we're not going to take on anything that we don't have to. And
Hmm.
especially when we're not taking care of ourselves the way that we should. Because honestly, when we're doing that much stuff, there's only 24 hours in a day. How much are we really taking care of ourselves? Not a
Yeah.
whole lot. And
Yeah.
I see we have a comment here from Diane Myers. How you doing, Diane? She says, as a former nurse who abused her body for years, taking care of others, now struggling to maintain mobility, I'm going to check Jarrell out. I
Okay.
would recommend it.
Come
I
on.
absolutely would. I also see that we have another comment here from Keeping Up with C. She says, I had the best sleep after an evening sound bath with Jarrell. It was next level relaxation. You know what? I'm glad you said that, C, because I was going to come and comment on that as well because I had an opportunity to be in one of her sound baths, and literally it just changed. It opened up so much. It put me in a really great space, and I am one who listens to my body. Like, I am queen of I will take a nap. Let me let you know. I don't think nothing is wrong. I love a nap and I think nothing is wrong with it. I listen to that. And I try to pay attention to my workload. I try not to do too much. This isn't about looking for an excuse to lack off. It's not that at all. I've found that when I take care of myself, it allows me to really be more productive because I'm productive on a higher level. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Oh yeah.
It puts my mind in a space where I can write what I need to write, plan how I need to plan, and I can get all of the things that I need to get done without overstressing my body, without overstressing my mind. Um, and I'll tell you this, after that sound bath, it really kind of that next day, that's when I really kind of formulated and I said, "You know what? I am going to do this podcast, but I am going to like really jump into it because I know that I can do it. It's just going to be about, am I going to commit myself to do it, and how can I do this in a way that would be good for me,
Mhm.
where I felt like I wasn't overtaxing myself because I know that it could require a lot of work, but I just had a different mind frame and I came up with this particular concept and it actually works for me. And I've been doing it for like a month and a half now. So yay me.
Yeah, you.
Yay me. I was scared to do it because I was like, that's a huge commitment, you know?
These
It,
conversations needed though. So thank you. Thank you for
yeah.
all of the noontime podcasts.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Like I said, you're a big part of what I feel like is a part of women having a tool, another tool for a little bit of healing, a little bit of relaxation, some self-discovery. When your
Mhm.
mind is at ease, you're gonna discover some more things, discover some things about yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, Jarrell, I tell you what, I hope we gave people an insight on the question that I really pose out there. Do black girls really do yoga?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And they don't just do it. They do it and they love it. They do it and they love it.
Yes, thank you. You brought a wonderful thing to the community. So I tell you what, we're going to do a little breath work and get on out of here. We're going to let these people get back to work. Hopefully, they know that, hey, yoga is out here. You can try it. Try it. Look for somebody in your space. Go online. You've got the opportunity of finding whatever you need to find at your fingertips. If you're not as lucky as we are and live where we live, well, we got your rail.
Mhm.
All right, lady. I heard that the wind down Wednesdays night. We're gonna talk about that after I get off the air.
Sounds
All right, all right. Well, I certainly appreciate you. Guys, listen. Ladies, listen. I also had an opportunity to have a sound bath. Well, not sound bath, but I was in a yoga class and there were men in the yoga class as well. So if there are men who are out here listening, this is for you too. Yeah, we're talking about our sisterhood. We're asking, do black women do yoga? Well, yeah, they do, and so do black men. We got to take care of ourselves. We only get one us, just one. So live and love this experience. All right. Make sure that you find whatever it is that you need. It might look hard. You might be afraid. Just go for it. Go for it. I did it. If I can do it, trust me, you all definitely can do it. I see I got a couple comments in here that I want to go ahead and put up before we get into the breath work. All right, I see Tracy here. She says, such a free spirit and inspiration to all. Keep grinding. Thank you. All right, all right. And I also see Diane Meyer. She said, this is wonderful. Thank you, Tanya. Well, thank you. Thank everybody who's come in and who's made your comments. I just want you guys to be able to have an opportunity to take a moment for yourself. Don't feel guilty. Do that. So you know what time it is. It's time for us to get out of here. It's time for you to get back on that clock. But when you get back on the clock, you've got a different frame of mind, and I want you to feel good. We're going to do a little breath work, and you get back at it. Let's do some breath work. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold a few seconds. Exhale. And hold that a few seconds. Inhale one more time. Hold a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. And don't you feel great? I feel great. I appreciate you guys. And if nobody gave you a smile today, if nobody smiled today, you just close your eyes and give yourself a big smile and see how that feels for you. All right? Y'all be great out here. That's what we do. One love, y'all.